Hello, beautiful Scorpios. These are going to be your messages for the next little while. So whenever you hear them, there is no specific date. If something doesn't make sense to you right away, listen to it a little bit later and see how it applies. All right. So let me see how I want to start. The first thing that I'm being shown is my symbol for attachments or addictions, the idea of the devil in the traditional tarot deck. So what is being said by this is that addictions of all sorts and attachments of all sorts are being highlighted. So we'll go into what those may be for you, what attachments or addictions you are letting go of, including people in your life, and where is this taking you. And I will spoil the surprise a little bit. You have the Tower in reverse as one of the symbols. So to me, Tower represents fundamental change and fundamental shift, a shift or change to some major area of your life. However, because it's showing up to me in reverse, it is suggesting that these changes are changes that are being made mostly by you. So there is a choice being implied here. These changes in your stability or in your foundation are being made by you or are being instigated by you. Let me go through some of the other cards that I received for you. I'm getting information here, so I'm trying to do two things at once. When I asked what chakra is significant in the next little while, two cards came out and I felt I needed to leave the two cards. The first one is third eye and your second one is heart chakra. So heart chakra was actually what I received in my meditation for you. So the fact that it showed up for you with this symbolically, it's like, okay, we're on the right track. Now, what does this connect to? First and foremost, why is third eye and heart chakra coming up? Because it connects to you and the sense of belonging. So how does it all connect? Well, first and foremost, the way you see yourself is the way the universe sees you. In other words, the way it's tied to our expectations. The way you see yourself is tied to expectations we have about life. So the third eye to me symbolizes your ability to see yourself differently. To see yourself differently, particularly when it comes to your heart, when it comes to trusting your heart, when it comes to trusting others with your heart. What do I mean by that? Resilience is something that is built over time and generally requires one to go through certain sets of conditions in order to test one's resolve. You are becoming a much more resilient person. A resilient person still deals with life, but that person deals with life differently than a person who is not resilient. So the idea here is of well, I don't think I need to explain the idea of resilience. You understand what resilience is. It's pliable. It's movable. It dances. It moves with the flow. It dances with the wind. If it was very rigid and very, very stiff, then any force could easily break it. So, however, resiliency has its price, so to speak. So in order for you to be resilient, you paid a price, and probably a high price. And when I say price, I mean something that you've experienced that was hurtful. So we all have pain in our heart, in our heart. We all have experienced pain. Sometimes people hurt us and they don't mean to hurt us, but they hurt us, and and it hurts. So there is no life without pain. That is my understanding. However, how we let pain affect us, that often depends on how much pain we choose to hold on to. And I feel that this Tower in reverse is very much referring to you shifting your foundation by choosing to no longer hold on to certain pain. Pain from the past, it's always from the past. So when we feel hurt or when we feel betrayed in some way, it messes with our feeling of belonging. And belonging is what you want. Every single human, I believe, wants the feeling of belonging. It's what makes us feel safe. So another way of saying this word belonging to me is feeling safe. You'll notice there's a lot of green here, symbolically, again, connecting to the heart chakra. But what's interesting here is the green is on the bottom, and to me that symbolizes stability. So your heart healing is what gives you new stable foundation, which will leave you feeling safer than you have ever felt before. I am drawn to his head covering, and it's red. And to me, it symbolizes the need to look at your thoughts that are connected to survival. We all have thoughts around survival. We all need to survive. Survival is just one of those things that we innately do to protect us. You know, our ego is a primary reason for having an ego is to survive. It's to navigate through these waters called life. But what I'm getting here is the thought patterns or your thinking that are connected to the idea of survival are being healed as well. In other words, if you have been determined in the past to never be hurt again in order to stay safe, that determination is actually putting you, that determination to never let yourself be hurt again is actually putting you more into being hurt again, because that determination, it's like you're putting the energy and the focus on not getting hurt. And the more focus you put on something, whatever it is, it grows. So I feel like you are shifting the things that you think about in terms of safety and security, predominantly as it connects to you and how you feel about yourself, and also how you feel within your own body. So a lot of it has to do with conditioning in terms of who you are, in terms of what you represent. And who you are and what you represent is something that you have learned about you by going through your experiences. And some of those experiences undoubtedly are rooted in some pain. So what I want to say here is that you are moving into a much, I want to say, safer zone, and much more safer zone, yeah, in terms of how you feel about yourself, which then ultimately allows you to feel safer in the world. What else do I want to say here? So some of the attachments that I was talking about earlier, or the addictions, is you may have attachments in terms of how you feel about yourself, and you're attached to feeling a certain way. But if that feeling is not something that benefits you, then being attached to it only prolongs your happiness. So, and it has adverse effects on your health. Okay, can I get more information on that? When you constantly beat yourself up, then eventually you end up with an ulcer. You may not have a physical ulcer, but you may feel like you have an ulcer. In other words, your body also takes a beating. So for those of you who are very hard on themselves, maybe you have had ulcers. I've never connected those two together, but that's what I'm being asked to say. And, you know, I suppose that could be possible. Not to mention that if you're always hard on yourself and you always beat yourself up, then your physical body will begin to feel the effects of that internal beating as well. Incidentally, if you have been feeling very tired and headachy, notice if over the last 2 or 3 months you haven't experienced something volatile in terms of your emotions. Because I feel like some of you who are experiencing headaches or lack of energy, and yes, there could be other reasons, but for some of you, I feel it's connected to something that happened 2 to 3 months ago or 2 to 3 weeks ago, depending on when you watch it. And there's volatility. So you might have gone from being very happy to being very sad, or from being very sad to being very happy. It's almost like opposite feelings and emotions. And when we have this big of a jump, our body takes a toll. It does affect our body because it's frequency. When we have a drastic shift in frequency, our body needs time to adjust to it. So some of you may be getting the symptoms as a backlash of whatever that was that you were experiencing. For others of you, if this doesn't apply, then there's other reasons. The energy is affecting us and all that kind of stuff. But that was I wanted to say that because I feel like it's going to apply to some of you. So what are you leaving behind in terms of the way you see yourself and in terms of letting go of your pain? Well, the King of Wands showed up. So there's several meanings to this. Number one, you may be letting go of some person in your past or in your life right now that has hurt you deeply. Perhaps they didn't mean to hurt you, but they have nonetheless. Now, just because it's a male, it doesn't necessarily mean it was a male in real life. It could have been a female. This is a general message. But it is someone that was highly influential and someone who was of authority figure to you. So generally a parent, maybe a grandparent, authority figure of some sort. There's a lot of obviously fire with this person, but what I want to say here is this person had a tendency to withhold their fire, withhold their emotions, yes, but it's like this person had a tendency to hold back. Emotionally, yes, but I feel like there is more. Like they held themselves back a lot, and as a result, they might have exhibited things like anger or anger outbursts or resentment. There's a lot of fire, but the fire is not flowing constructively. It's not flowing there where it could be flowing. So there's a lot of imbalance here with this person. And I'm going to say this: hurt people hurt people. So if this person is someone in your life, or has been someone in your life in your past, generally speaking, and they have hurt you, chances are it's because this person was very hurt themselves, and the only way they could relate to you was the way they could relate with themselves. So a good way to look at something like that is to see how a person is within themselves. So if you have someone who is extremely hard on themselves, or someone who is angry, or someone who is conflicted, generally the relationship they have with themselves is the relationship they will have with you, or if you're a partner or a friend. That's just the way it is. So whoever this person is for you, you're leaving this person behind. You're also leaving an aspect of you, this aspect of you behind. And when I say this aspect of you, this is, how can I say it? This person feels very angry to me. And not because it's an angry person, but this person is holding on to a lot of anger. And we all have anger feelings. It's not a good or bad feeling. It simply is. It's what we do with that feeling and how much we hold on to any given feeling that then it ends up being a problem. So another message here is some of you are letting go of some long internal anger. Now, this anger could be towards you. This anger could be towards somebody else. This anger could be towards a situation. But whatever this anger is, it has been or is still affecting you, but you are letting that go. And generally speaking, in order to let something go, you first have to become aware of it. So chances are you have been becoming aware maybe of some of the anger that you feel, of some of the resentment that you feel. And I'm not saying you're angry or resentful person. I'm not saying that, but there are bits and pieces. I mean, your heart is healing that you are probably holding on to like everybody else. So there's no point in denying it. Sometimes it's so deep we don't know it, but then a situation comes around and we react or we react to a situation and we realize, oh my gosh, I'm still holding on to some anger. But this is on its way out. Whoever this person is, whatever they represent, or whatever this aspect of you represents in terms of you, you're letting that go. That does not mean you're never going to get angry again. It's about holding on to anger. For some of you, you're holding yourself hostage, or you have been holding yourself hostage. What do I mean by that? You shortchange yourself by telling yourself in various ways and forms that you're not good enough. Essentially, what happens is when you tell yourself you're not good enough, you're denying yourself the very thing you want, which is love. Who doesn't want love? Everybody wants love. Love is what home is. That's why we all want to be loved, because it's the closest feeling that we have to being home, right? So again, the Tower in reverse, to me, it's a fantastic sign. It also says to me that you've been doing a lot of hard work. You have been diligently working on your foundation, and that always has a high payoff in the end, but it's usually never pretty. It's never comfortable, because you're facing things within yourself that are uncomfortable. That's just the way it is. What's the other thing that you're leaving behind? Seven of Coins comes up. So for those of you who read cards, you may interpret this however you want, or however you feel is coming to you. I'm not a tarot reader, for those of you who are new. But to me, this card represents you're done waiting. You're done waiting. So I believe the general message of this card traditionally is investment, I think. I'm not a tarot reader. To me, you're done waiting. You've invested enough and you're done waiting. So what does it mean when you say you're done waiting? It means you're no longer waiting to be enough. You are coming to a point, to realization that you are enough already. And when you begin to feel that you're enough, and I think I've already talked about that in one of the videos, on September new moon or full moon, September 13th video, I talked extensively about that. When you begin to realize that you're already enough and that you are whole and you don't have to prove anything to yourself or anything to anyone, including yourself, when you begin to remind yourself that you're already enough, then you begin to start feeling this inner sense of belonging. And this inner sense of belonging is essentially a feeling of safety. The predominant colors here are red and green. So this is security. This is your first chakra, root, your foundation, and it's your heart. When you feel safe, your heart, you're much more likely to have your heart open, to invite someone into your life, to invite someone into your heart. When you're not feeling safe, your door is going to be shut closed. When you're not safe, you're not going to be open to opening your heart. That's just the way it is. So there's a beautiful flow with this card here. The other thing I'm being drawn here is the mountains behind him. And to me, it's very symbolic of treacherous circumstances. And again, it's another way of saying you have gone through some difficulties in the past, but you are now taking charge and you are now your own leader. Let's call it that way. You're now your own leader. You're no longer waiting for someone to be a leader for you or to you. You are now becoming your own leader. Okay? So what are some of the energies that trust? I just keep hearing trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. If you can envision being happy, if you can envision trusting, if you can envision feeling opulent, if you can envision and feel all those wonderful feelings that come with having an open heart, then eventually the universe will put it in front of you in whatever package. And what I want to say about is the package is this. We humans function on expectations. That's just the way it is. So if you are looking for something, chances are you're looking for something in a certain way. So you have your own expectations. The problem with expectations is that our expectations is purely based on what we know already. And we are changing. You are changing. Therefore, what might be in future for you may not be in the way you're expecting it. But because you're not there yet, it's hard for you to see it. So in other words, I'm trying to say, lose your expectations. Now, how do you desire something and have no expectation? Well, first and foremost, it's challenging because those two often go together. But it is also one of the biggest things that trips people up is wanting something and have a strict expectation of what it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to arrive to you, and when. Because again, those are based on what we currently know, but what you may be getting is something that's based on something you don't know yet. So if you are searching for love, if you are searching for the one, if you are searching for a certain opportunity, if you are searching for a certain feeling, understand what your intention is in terms of your vibration. What is the vibration you're trying to get into? Chances are it's a very high vibration that's vibrating in your heart with high vibration, very high vibration, love. And love can look in gazillion different ways. For some people, love is being able to do what they want. For some people, love means being loved by someone. For some people, love is feeling secure. I mean, we have the general idea of what love is, but everybody has their own unique interpretation of what that means to them as well, in addition to the traditional meaning of love. So where was I going with this? Trusting the process. Yes. So if you have a certain idea in mind, and if you're looking for a certain outcome, look at this outcome as a vibration and ask yourself, what is this vibration? What kind of vibration is this? What does this vibration feel like? And make that you be your focal point. In other words, don't focus on the package of what it's supposed to look like. Focus on the feeling. And I've talked about this before. And when we begin to do that, we drop our expectations. Things seem to flow a lot easier. And life gets a little bit easier. Life doesn't get easy all of a sudden, but life absolutely gets a little bit easier. So what can help you? You have the gazelle, fire element as well. And the moment I saw this, I just heard the word trust and independence. So gazelle is, safari animal. It runs very fast. It's generally very swift and very aware of their surroundings because they don't want to be eaten. But this gazelle, although it's still in safari and it's probably surrounded by, animals that prey, this gazelle is relaxed enough to take a pause and to listen. So and the gazelle can only do that when the gazelle feels safe. So this is a message to help you relax in your own skin, to help you feel comfortable enough to pause and to surrender. And when you don't trust yourself or life, I'm telling you, it's not easy to surrender. Surrender is hard as it is. But when you don't trust, surrender becomes very, very difficult. But it is often until we surrender that we won't get what we want, because we want things a certain way, right? Our rigid ways. The universe may have a different idea, and always the universe does have a different idea. So relax into your body more. For some of you, this is career oriented. And what do I want to say here? Actually, what I heard was let your sun shine out of you, but I want to say it differently. Let your light shine. Let your light shine. So if you have been holding back because you've been feeling not safe, or you have not felt like you belonged anywhere, if you have been holding your light, you have been holding essentially yourself back. And if that's the case, then people have a hard time reaching you. So I don't want to oversell this or overtalk it. I will just say this one thing about this. Learn how to trust yourself despite the fact that you don't know where life is leading you. Have an idea, have an intention, know what the intention is in terms of vibration, and leave the rest to the universe. Now, it doesn't mean you get to do this and sit and do nothing. You have your intention, and then you do whatever is required in order to maintain that vibration. So watch your thoughts, watch your feelings, do things accordingly. You guys get the picture. So what are two other cards that I pulled for you? Sharing cultural ideas and conservative attachments. So for some of you, the sharing cultural ideas is you being in a position to affect a change in somebody else, or being able to affect a change by helping someone realize something, by helping someone understand something. For others of you, this is someone helping you understand yourself better. So that's the first message. The second message is, actually what I heard is you're qualified to do this. You're qualified to do this. So if you have been thinking of wanting to be in a position to be able to help someone, to inspire someone, to be in a position to empower someone, to affect someone in a positive way, you're equipped to do this. You're equipped to do this. So I may be talking to just one person, or I don't feel that's the case, but you are equipped to do this. Okay, so that's going to be a message for some of you. Another message is looking at how your world has influenced you, okay? And we're all influenced by how we grow up. You know, this person has influenced you as well. And the more you understand how that you have been influenced, the more you have let go of that influence, okay? But you first have to be aware of that influence. Otherwise, you can't let something go unless you know, A, that it exists, and number two, you know, what it looks like, right? So that's the message with this card. The conservative attachments is holding on to something in your past for a fear of losing it. Now, what does that mean? Why would you want to hold on to something for a fear of losing it? Well, because if you hold on to something, then at least you have it, even though it's not ideal, but at least you have something. Because then if you let it go, you're afraid you're never going to get anything back. So you know what I'm getting with this message? This is about those of you who are holding on to a relationship that doesn't serve you. Whether it is a love relationship, a work relationship, a friend relationship, some project, something you're holding on to because you feel you're not going to get anything better and it's not really serving you. I would really urge you to look into it a little bit, to look at the underlying belief system that would make you think that. Because chances are, if you're holding on to something that doesn't serve you because you're afraid you're not going to get better, then your belief system must be something along the lines, I'm not worthy to get something more. And if that's the case, then we have a problem. Because if you feel you're not worthy, and if that's what's playing out in the back of your mind, then you just keep rotating in the same, you're just spinning in the same way. You're just spinning in the same circle, right? So what are you holding on to from the past? Or what are you currently holding on to right now that is connected to your past? Very, very important. And this is again where the Tower comes up in reverse position, is you doing a lot of work in your foundation or on your foundation, is you determining that you will live as a different person by simply choosing to do so. Yes, you will still have your patterns. Yes, you will have still things you have always done, but at least you'll have awareness and you'll have intention. Okay? Is there anything else I want to leave with you? Yes. Energetic movement is another message. And again, there's a lot of red in here, so there's a lot of safety implied. This card, what I get is dancing. So for some of you, it would be good for you to do some dancing, some kind of body movement to move some of that stagnating energy. Okay. For some of you, you might be thinking about taking some belly dancing classes. That's coming up for some of you. So if that has been going through your mind, by all means, go ahead and find a class. The other feeling I'm getting from this is declutter, 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 declutter. So if you have been hoarding things, including physical things, then it's time to declutter. We are coming into a fall season, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. So spring is not for a while, but this feels to me like spring cleaning. Even though that's not what the message says, that's what I feel this is saying to me. It's to declutter, 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 declutter. Okay? And when I say declutter, I mean your thoughts that are connected to your emotions. Decluttering that too. For some of you, emotional declutter, which may require another person to help you with. Sometimes it's difficult to dig really deep down into the subconscious unless you have someone that can kind of help you with that. So that may mean something to some of you. So take that for what you will. And always listen to your intuition. Always listen to your intuition. And I think that's how I want to leave this with you. It was very interesting the way it came up. Yeah, I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't make sense to you right away, listen to it a few weeks from now. But this is going to, I feel, make a lot of sense to majority of you at some point. All right. I wish you best of luck. Please take care of yourself. Please be kind to yourself, and always remember you're already enough and you're already whole. There's nothing and no one you need to prove yourself to. All right. And with that said, of course, if you would like a private session with me, that information is down below. Also, Vimeo videos from July till end of this year. That information is down below for you as well. And again, take care of yourself, and I will see you soon.